your program again on radio, Agreenvolution on Lights Radio. To be a part of the program, do join us on Facebook at Lights Radio. You can also join us on YouTube at Lights Radio. And to be a part of the program or listen live, you can join us via the Radio Garden. Go to the Google Play Store, install the Radio Garden app, and search for Lights Radio. Then you'll be connected. On Agreenvolution is known to be a program that disseminates information on agriculture on how to make us improve, and also to improve our productivity, to give insights to matters in agriculture. Last week, we continued on our production on our topic from a fortnight ago, addressing the survival strategy in farming as a Nigerian. However, this week, we shall be looking at an aspect of farming that is not known to many, but known to them. I say it's not known to many because there are so many corners in this aspect that majority of the people do not know. All they know is you buy the animals, you feed them, and you keep waiting until they attain maturity. They don't know the technical manipulations, the technical alterations that can be addressed, that can be effected on these animals to improve productivity and make it a standard business venture. On the program today, we shall be discussing goat farming and its benefits. I repeat, goat farming and its benefits. Majority of us are aware. We know what goat is. Before we go in depth of the program, I am AIYEDUN LATEEF Ayodeji, your animal scientist on radio. Before I go to the depth of the program, let us ask ourselves, how many of us have goats? If we don't, we must have ate goats at one time or the other. Some of us take issue a lot. And also, we go to the farm, to the market, Afera Ogufe, we want to buy Ogufe. Majority of us don't even know the drudgery, the hard work that the farmers have put into raising those animals. However, it is imperative and important that in these trying times of ours, we need to think outside the box on how we can mitigate our expenses, reduce our expenses, improve our productivity, and staying afloat in this economy. As farmers, the cost with which we buy feed is getting hiked every day. I was telling somebody yesterday that I remember the time that if I go to ABDUL, I buy a bag of wheat over 50 kg for 800 naira. At the time, we were buying maize, a kg for 42 naira. At the time, we were buying fish meal, 72%. We were buying it for 160 naira. At a time, we were buying soya for 70 naira. Majority of all I've mentioned now, they are now in the class of affluence, except you have some huge amount of money. I remember during those times when I go to ABDUL and I've bought the feed for my animals and I'm going home, I charter bus that will take me to my house. Then the equivalent of what we bought then for 800 naira is not sold for less than 5,000 naira now. At least that's even if it's the cheapest. So automatically, we have seen the geometric increase in prices of commodity, not only for human but also for animal. On this topic, we shall not be restricting ourselves to goat management alone. We shall also be talking about ways by which we can improve on our production. Ways by which we can get the best maximum products from our animals. Please listen and hold on while we go for this short break.
as the clouds go gray.
Welcome back from that short break. If you are just joining us, this is Agreenvolution on Lights Radio. To be a part of the program, do join us on Facebook at Lights Radio and via the Radio Garden on the Google Play Store at Lights Radio. You can also join us on YouTube at Lights Radio. We are discussing goat farming and its benefits. Goats, for the layman, let me calm down so everybody will be able to understand. Goat is a four-legged animal that is commonly called ewúrẹ́, ẹran, ewu, depending on where you are from. Goats are of different breeds. The breeds are function of the climate or where they are from. We have the West African dwarf. We have the Maradi red. We have the the Kalahari red, which is an exotic breed. And we have a whole lot of, and also the Boer goats, which is also an exotic breed. Currently, we have Nigerian farmers that are importing the Kalahari red and the Boer goats to improve our own local gene. Because number one of the advantage of our West African dwarf and the Maradi is that they have disease resistance. They are very hardy animals. They have the ability of surviving in any terrain that they may be subjected to. Now, if you are bringing a foreign goat into a new environment, there is a window period of about 14 days, which we call acclimatization period, during which the animal will be adapting gradually to the new environment. However, there is an equation in animal science called performance is a function of genetics and environment. If, for example, you are bringing a goat from Netherlands, and there, the goat is an excellent milk producer, by virtue being favored by the weather over there. If you bring the goat down to the tropics here, it is possible that the goat's prowess for milk production will be reduced. Why? Because the change in environment. So now, how do you now marry the trait that is desirable in the goats that you have seen in the Netherlands alongside the traits in our own West African dwarf? Is by a process called breeding. We will not go into the depth of breeding today, but we shall talk in the peripheral of how you can improve in this current turbulential economy. On rare occasions, we have people that buy goats without even knowing anything about them. And at the end of the day, they have lots of complaints. Lots of diseases are manifested on the animals, and they don't understand how to treat those diseases. Those are the functions of a trained professional. It is not for you to be going to the pharmacy to be buying red and yellow capsule. No. It is not for you to be buying acetaminophen or Flagyl and be administering to the goat. No. Simply put a call through to your animal scientist or a trained professional that can guide you on how to go about improving the health of the goat. Goats generally, like I said earlier, are very hardy animals, and they have the power to surmount physical obstacles. Those of us that grew up in the village or very close to the village, we will have the opportunity of seeing goats sometimes stretch to eat something. I remember back in 200 level, one of my lecturers, Professor Akingbade, showed us a picture of a goat on a scooter, stretching its neck to access leaves on a tree. These are the survival instincts of goats that majority of other animals do not have. Now, goat farming itself is a very profitable business. Why? Because they have short gestation period of about 150 to 151 days. And a goat could give birth to as much as 3 on rare occasions, but 2 very common. And you can decide to sell goats at any stage. After it is weaned, you can decide to sell at any stage. If you are going into goat production, the best thing you can do to be economical, so you want to go into goat production fully, is to get about 4 female goats, 4 does, and 1 male. That's the standard ratio of mating. Now, how do we go about it? Majority of us will keep the 5 of them in the same place. We start feeding them with grasses around. It is not that they will not grow. And let us try to correct this impression that majority of the people have on goat production. An average African or Nigerian or Southwesterner believes that if you are into goat production, you must allow them roam about before they can be productive for you. I am telling you that according to the psychology of the olden days, it may be playable. But in modern day, there are ways to manage goats indoor and they will still be performing better. It is because then they were not holding these goats as a commercial model of life or business. That's why they can open the gate and allow them roam around. Some people don't even feed them. Some even feed them once in a day, depending on what they want to do. But now, we now have goats taken care of intensively. We have goats on semi-intensive. And we have goats that are reared today commercially in a modern system. By virtue of this program, we shall be talking about how you can start goat farming with at least 60 to 70,000 naira. If you want to now improve on your feeding system, there are other mechanisms you can put that will bring down the cost of your feeding. Because if you want to do goats as an intensive production, like an intensive system of goat production, that means you get a place. You can construct a shed, just like normal shed for them. That shed could have barricade that will make them stay in that confinement. You need a water trough, a feeding trough in which you put their feed and water. You need to have a roosting area. If you have a plot of land, conveniently, you can still do 10 to 15 goats on a plot of land, depending on your feeding system. I stumbled on an article recently that someone said he has, I think, 60 goats on an acre of land. It depends on your system of production. That is what determines if you are the type that you want to be grazing your animals at all times. 5 acres is not enough for 20 goats. If you are the type that you believe in formulating feed for them, 1 acre is even enough. You can have lofting area where they roam around, relax during the sunny day, during the day. You can have a roosting area where they retire to at night to sleep. There are different structures that are needed on a goat farm. Goats is very, very economical to manage because number one, they don't eat as much as cow does, and they have the ability to convert virtually anything they eat into flesh, although not as compared to swine. But however, ways by which you can raise goat in this economy that you won't be spending much is by employing what we call hydroponics or aeroponics. You can try Google that. Going by hydroponics, I remember there was this video I stumbled upon. I've forgotten the name of the institute in Scotland. TEAGSC or something. Hydroponics was used to breed barley seeds. And these barley seeds were fed to chicken, they were fed to cow and their animals. Now, what are the advantages of using this method? There is enzyme. There is abundant enzyme in it. The seed that you are feeding is not a raw seed. The seed must have been processed and seedling must have been germinating from it, thereby making it in the wholesomeness available for assimilation. The nutrients will be absorbed and assimilated by the system of the goats. If you are the type that believe in cassava peel, you can also use cassava peel. You can formulate feed for them by going to the feed mill, buying feed ingredients like wheat over, PKC. You can add GNC, some premix. They have their own special premix too. You can add some premix, some minerals, some vitamins. Vitamin mineral premix can be added. If you now compare a goat reared in an enclosed environment, well fed and well watered, well taken care of, and that which is roaming around, because your great grandfather said, you discover that the one that is in confinement will be looking more brighter and more radiant than the one walking around. And however, you may say, shebi ati multiplying ko. It is very easy if your goats are in confinement. If they are in intensive, you can monitor them. How do you do that? Number one is by separating the male from the female. If the male and the female are not in the same pen, if they have difference, if they have gap within them, and let's say, for example, you have 10 does that you want to cross, and you have 3 bucks, 3 sturdy bucks that is going to cross them. You can introduce those, you can just open the female and the male. The rate at which they cross will be more faster than if they've been together all the time. It's not that they will not cross, they will not mate if you allow them mix, but it will not give room for proper planning. Let's say, for example, you allow your goat to breed as at when they've deemed fit. You won't know when they have conceived for you to be able to guess their expected delivery dates. Secondly, you won't be able to know if the male that mated the female, the traits are desired. It is possible that you have 3 bucks on your farm and you discover that just one of them have very good posture, very strong, hardy, and has a good feed conversion ratio. You may want to replicate that trait in the progenies to come. If you allow them roam around on their own and mate at their discretion, it is even possible that that desired trait buck rather, may not have access to mate any of the does. But if they are intensive and you are planning your breeding, it is very easy. You can release only the desired buck to the does to mate them. And if they mate, let's say for example today Saturday, November 2, they mate today. You can calculate 151 days from now and say, okay, by so time, this goat will likely give birth. If the goat does not go on parturition by that time, then you know something is wrong. But if you don't know the time that they mated, how easy would it be for you to know if something is wrong when parturition is supposed to occur and is not occurring? Secondly, if your goats are on free range, in cases of difficulty in giving birth, which is also known as dystocia, it will be very hard for you to help the doe if parturition comes when they are not on farm. But if they are in intensive and you are monitoring them, those that are close to their to parturition can be isolated in a separate pen where they will be monitored, and if case of dystocia occurs, the goats can be helped, can be aided to deliver the baby. I remember in our 300 level second semester, myself and two of my friends were doing exams, we were just having a recess, then we saw a goat giving birth. It took hours before the placenta could drop. It is very easy to record mortality as a result of parturition if dystocia occur and the animals are not under intensive care or they are not being monitored. Now, what are the benefits? Let's go for this short break. When we return, then we give you the benefits of goat farming.
I believe in my future. I believe in this great land. I believe in Nigeria. I believe we will have it. All the things that we desire. The beauty and the unity. I believe in Africa's progress. I believe if we take all the vast land we've got, yes, I know we can build up our lives. I believe in peace, should be farm our gold. Agriculture is peace, united we stand.
Indeed, agriculture is peace. United, we can stand to fight this hunger that is ravaging our lands. If you are just joining the program, this is Agreenvolution on Lights Radio. You can join us on Facebook at Lights Radio, on YouTube at Lights Radio. You can also listen to us via the Radio Garden. Simply go to the Google Play Store, install the app, and search for Lights Radio. We've been discussing goat farming and its benefits. We spoke about the management and then how you can handle the animals, the advantage of intensive over the free range. Now we shall be looking at the benefits. Here are some of the benefits of goat farming. Meat production. Goat meat is highly nutritious. And goat meat, particularly from breeds like Boer goat, is lean and high in protein. However, that goat is not localized in our area here. If you see any Boer goat here, it is being introduced into this environment. Milk production. Goat's milk is nutritious and often easier to digest than cow milk, considering because of the lactose. For those that have lactose tolerance, goat milk is better and easy to digest because of the lactose. The lactose content in it is not as compared to that of cow milk. It can be used for direct consumption or making cheese, yogurt, and all other dairy products. I know majority of us, the only place we see cheese, probably we are watching some videos on some social media, probably like TikTok, and we saw cheese with them. Cheese is a product of milk. Likewise, butter is a product of milk. Also, one of the benefits is fiber production. Certain breeds such as the Angora and the Cashmere goat produce valuable fibers that can be spun into textile. Another one is the land management. Goats are effective at clearing bushes and weeds, which can help manage land and reduce fire hazards. I remember there was a time I saw a picture that the Google headquarters employed goats to clear the bushes around them. And there's also this guy on TikTok. The guy is in the UK. I think he charges about 400 and something pounds. Bring his goats there. The goats, in 3 days, the goats can exhaust the entire weed or grass on about 3 plots of land in less than 48 hours. And that also reminds me of my agricultural science teacher when I was in JS junior classes, Miss BC. She said something like biological weed control. In an area, in her words, this is how she saw it. I remember how she usually tell us. In an area where you have cockroach, introduce chicken. In an area where you have lots of grasses, introduce goats. This is a practical biological control mechanism used on weeds. More so, low input costs. Goats require relatively low investment in terms of feed, housing, compared to larger livestock, and they can thrive on marginal land and forage. That is, they have the ability to adapt. However, their adaptability makes them hardy animals that can adapt to various climates and environments, making them suitable for diverse farming system. So goats are better when it comes to management compared to sheep. However, majority of us are aware that when it's about to rain, goats, they often run from rain, but sheep, they like rain. Their reproductive efficiency. Wow. Goats have a relatively high reproduction rate with the ability to produce multiple kids per year, leading to faster head expansion. This can be achieved by what I explained earlier if you have controlled breeding. That is, if you have power over the breeding cycle. And you having power over breeding cycle has to do with intensive management. More so, nutrient recycling. Goats contribute to nutrient recycling on farms through their manure, which can be used as natural fertilizer. And the small scale viability, goat farming can be started on a small scale, like I said earlier, with just about 4 does and 1 buck, you are good to go. All you need is the passion that will drive the investment to greater heights. Goats has community and economic impact such that it can support local economies and contribute to food security, providing income and nutrition for families. If you have goat farm, let me paint this analogy that will make you understand how goat farming can improve your life. Let's say, for example, in January, you have 5 does. Let's say you have 4 does and you have 2 bucks. And you cross them. On the average, let's say each goat give birth to singleton, that is 1-1. That means you have 1 kid from those 4 does. With their mother, that's 8. With the 2 you have, that's 10. That is within 5 months. You have 10 goats. After parturition or after weaning, you can cross the dam again. If in 5 months your goat will go into parturition, that means in a year it can go into parturition twice in a year. That means you have additional 4 kids. That means you'll be having 14 by November. If in January you have 5, or you have 7 rather, by November you'll be having additional 8, which will be about 14. Now, some goats deliver up to 2 kids at once. On rare occasion, they deliver up to 3. If your goat is the type that is going on parturition and bringing about 2 kids at once, that means you'll be having 8 kids in 5 months. And in the year, you'll be having 16 kids. If you decide that you so wish you want to sell at winners, you can decide to sell. If you so wish you want to raise them to about a year before you sell, you can decide to sell. And if you so wish that you want to slaughter part of them, you can do. That will provide protein for your family. Selling them will bring revenue for your family. That will be your source of livelihood and your source of managing your family. Now imagine that your doe give birth to 2 twin kids and you have 4 of them. In a year you have 16. In 2 years you have 32 kids. That means in 2 years, someone that was in your house January this year, if this person is coming back January this year, coming back to your December next year, that means the person will get to your house and meet 38 goats if you didn't sell any within 2 years. That is the geometrical reproduction when it comes to the reproductive efficiency of goats. So if your goat is delivering 3, for example, that means per parturition, if you are planning their mating, you'll be having 12 goats per parturition. In a year, you have 24. In 2 years, you have 48. Look at that. That alone is enough to encourage you if you have passion for goat production. So the benefit of goat production goes beyond buying and just selling them or having them and just feeding them. There's something we call GIGO. Garbage in, garbage out. What you feed to your animals determines what you get in return. So if you are the kind of farmer that feed maize chaff, corn bran, cassava peel, eriogi, what do we call it? All these roughages to your goats. You cannot expect your goats to perform at optimal level compared to he who is basing his goat on fodder solutions or hydroponic solutions. Because that kind of person would have provided for the goat's mineral amino acid requirements, multivitamins, protein, calcium and phosphorus, as well as their protein requirements. And also, if you are into goat production, one of the easiest ways to start goat production is having a shed. If you have the money, you can be going to all these abokis at Alabarago to buy all these granite husk, all this other dry food and wait over and feeding them. But they will not perform optimally compared to if you are basing them on hydroponics, fodder solutions, legumes, and pasture. It's even now easier. If you have the money, you can decide to buy a pasture blender, or what do they call it, that chops all this grass and pasture. If you have an area or you have a vast arable land, you can plant pastures, plant all this guinea grass, plant all these grasses, guinea grass, northern gamba, plant centrosema. You can even plant groundnuts. You can blend them, mix them together, add some goat premix, some vitamin and mineral premix, then give to the goats. You can also provide mineral leak. You can get mineral leak in virtually any standard veterinary pharmacy. Provide mineral leak to them. The minerals that they don't get in those feeds you have administered to them, they will get from the mineral leak. Let me come to the way humans are, so you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say. Ọmọ tó jí láàárọ̀ táwọn òbí ẹ̀ ò kétà fún tó jáde tó hustle lọ fúnra ẹ̀ lè fi àwọ̀ ẹ̀ skin ẹ̀ àti performance ẹ̀ ní class lè fi wé ọmọ tó jẹ́ pé àwọn òbí ẹ̀ wọ́n provide nǹkan tó nídìí fún. You cannot compare the two. Which is why, majority of the time, if a child is failing to perform below standard in a class, the first thing the teacher looks at is the nutrition of the child. A child that is malnourished cannot perform beyond the performance. But the child that is well nourished still have room for improvement because the nutrients have roles to play in brain development. So also, goats and other animals. The nutrients you offer them determines their growth rates and their productivity. With this, I think we've been able to let you know the benefits of goat production. It depends on whatever you want. You may decide you want to go into goat production tomorrow. Think about it. We shall be giving you insight also on some breeds of goats. But before we do that, let's go for this short break. When we return, we reel out some breeds of goats that may be of beneficial consideration to you if you are considering going into goat production. Please stay tuned.
Kíkọ́ láìsí ọkọ́ àti àdá kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè. Ìwé kíkọ́ láìsí ọkọ́ àti àdá kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè. Láìsí iyán àti ẹ̀gúsí kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iyán àtẹ̀bà ló ń jẹ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò jẹyán á jẹ̀bà tó tutù. Ìṣápá láìsí iyán àti ẹ̀gúsí kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iyán àtẹ̀bà ló ń jẹ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò jẹyán á jẹ̀bà tó tutù. Wọn kò fetí sílẹ̀ sóhun tólùkọ́ kọ́ wọn. Olùkọ́ ní kó kàwé wọn sì máa ṣeré ká. Wọ́n á jẹun, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ roboto. Iṣẹ́.
Welcome back. If you are joining this program, this is Agreenvolution on Light Radio. We've been talking about goat farming and its benefits. We've virtually spoken about how you can manage your goats, their feeding, the management, and the controlled breeding system that will help you to plan for parturition and how 4 goats can turn into 32 goats in 2 years. By virtue of this, let us look at some of the breeds of goats which are in Nigeria. We have the West African dwarf, which is known for its small size. The breed is hardy and very common and adapted to the tropical climate. They are often kept for their meat and sometimes as pets. We have the Sahelian goat, which is a larger breed. It's known for its good meat quality and adaptability to arid region, from the name Sahel, that is the Sahel Savannah. They are primarily raised for meat production also. We have the red Sokoto goat, which is also known as the Maradi Red, renowned for its high quality meat and beautiful reddish coat. The red Sokoto is highly valued among farmers. That red Sokoto goat is the most common goat that you see sold by the northerners here in Lagos. Òun làwọn tó máa ń pè ní àlàkẹ́ tó pọ̀ jù nínú agbo àwọn tó máa ń tẹran yẹn. More so, we have this is a foreign breed, but now it's becoming almost like our own because we have lots of farmers in Nigeria now that have them. We have the Kalahari red goat. This breed is known for its robust build. If you see this Kalahari red, it looks like a goat that has gone to the gym. Very built. Its head alone, from the front, you think is the head of a sheep, of a full-grown sheep, ram rather. We also have the Boer goats. And I'm talking about the foreign goats that are not domiciled in Nigeria and Africa. That are the foreign goats. We have the Saanen, originated from Switzerland. It's known for its high milk production and are typically white or light cream in color. We have the Nubian goat, which is a British breed with distinctively long floppy hair. These Nubians are valued for milk and meat. We also have that Boer goat, like I said, and also the Toggenburg and Kiko from New Zealand. All these goats can be adapted to Nigeria. Conclusively, sometimes in 2014 or thereabout, during our internship, then one of my friends was working at a dairy farm in Kwara State. Then we were the escorts of our department. Then I had to go there because we were applying our excursion then. So when I got there, I saw vast arable land, larger than from Oshodi to Songota. We were on bike, and the bike was riding us through groundnut plantations for over 40 minutes at top speed. When we got to the farm, I saw lots of Fresian and Jersey cows. Majority of the people believe you cannot raise Jersey cows or Fresian cows in Nigeria. But this dairy farm did it. They have over 150 heads of cow. I don't want to exaggerate. There are over 200 that they have in that farm. And recently, I remember a particular dairy company in the north imported foreign breeds of cow. The cows were flew in. And they said they were just bringing those cows in to know and understand them better on how they can adapt to the environment. So all these breeds of goats I've reeled out can be adapted to our environment, provided you understand their requirements. So these are the things you need a professional for. If you are thinking about going into any production with respect to agriculture, be it crop or livestock, please seek the advice and guidance of a certified and trained professional. In this trying time, this is not the time to play gamble with your hard-earned money. Any investment you want to go into, you yourself must be actively involved in it so you can understand it better. And don't commit the future of your agricultural adventure solely onto the hands of your workers. Your future should be in your hands. Ní Yorùbá fi máa ń sọ pé àtẹ́lẹwọ́ ẹni kì í tàn ní jẹ. I am AIYEDUN LATEEF Ayodeji with Agreenvolution. Special thanks to the studio management for giving us time out of their busy times to educate you on benefits of goat farming and how we can go about it. Special appreciation to the studio engineer and the program producer. I am AIYEDUN LATEEF AYODEJI once again, bringing to your listening ears Agreenvolution on Light Radio. Thank you, and God bless. Have a nice weekend.